up, guys? We're back with another supplement review, and today we're going to be doing Kill It Reloaded by 5% Nutrition. So Reloaded is their middle of the road stim level. They have Kill It, which I believe is 250 milligrams of caffeine, and Kill It Reloaded, which is 365, and then they have one called 4140, which I believe is like 450 milligrams or somewhere around there. So like I said, starting out with caffeine, we have 365 milligrams, and it is 200 milligrams of anhydrous, which is the quick hitting, quick acting, and then we have 50 milligrams each of caffeine citrate and D-malate, and those are the slower acting ones, so that when the anhydrous peaks off around an hour or so, those slow burn, and it'll keep your energy levels up for around 2 hours or so. Next up, we have beta-alanine. And Kill It Reloaded only has 2 grams of beta-alanine, which in my opinion is a little bit low of a dose. Like I've talked about before, 3.2 is a pretty good dose. That's basically what's been shown to be most beneficial, and you don't get the side effects. 2 is a little bit low. You'll still get something out of it, but that's not the ideal level. Next up, Kill It Reloaded has 2.5 grams of creatine, and there's 3 different formulations of creatine, and I think that's just more of a dissolvability factor. Like monohydrate doesn't really dissolve well and everything's really chalky, so I think they put a couple different formulations in there just so that it'd blend a little bit smoother. And again, when you're talking 2.5 grams of creatine, that's really not a good dose. Like typically in a day you want to be 5 to 10, and I understand you're probably going to supplement elsewhere, but having 2.5 grams in here is not really going to make a difference. Either you're going to take the creatine outside of here, or you're going to get at least 5 from another pre-workout. And so just having 2.5 in here is really not a great dose. It's not really going to be beneficial. Next up, Kill It Reloaded has some nootropics. So for your mind, your mental fatigue, and your focus and your energy levels. We'll start with L-theanine, and there's 100 milligrams of L-theanine. And so what L-theanine has been shown to do in studies is increase your memory and your attention span and problem-solving capabilities. Not really high yield for a pre-workout, but it is a good compound. I actually use it myself when I study for tests and everything. Next, there's a compound called Huperzine A, I believe is how it's pronounced, and it works very similar to L-theanine, so it's going to increase your memory and your mental performance and your cognition. Last up for your nootropics is choline bitartrate. And like I had talked about before, that's just a derivative of acetylcholine, which is going to increase your acetylcholine levels. And like I've said before, acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter, so that's going to help with your neural synapses. So basically same thing, you're going to have more available, so you're not going to get that mental burnout as quick, and you won't fatigue out mentally. Next up, you have 2 grams of taurine, which is a pretty high dose of taurine. And like we've talked about before, taurine is going to increase your energy and your mental focus. It's pretty good when you mix it with caffeine, and in pre-workouts it does give you that little extra boost of energy and mental focus. And now Kill It Reloaded has 3 compounds in here for their basically to increase your pump. First up is glycerol. We've got 2.5 grams of glycerol, and glycerol is a vasodilator. It's going to increase your nitric oxide levels, increase your pump and blood flow. Next up, you have 4 grams of citrulline. Like I've talked about before, citrulline is going to do similar to the glycerol. It's going to increase your nitric oxide, increase your blood flow, and pump. Last up, there's a compound called norvaline, which is just a derivative of the amino acid valine. And so what valine does is it's going to shut off arginase, which shuts off arginine, so it'll increase your arginine level. And again, arginine and citrulline get converted to nitric oxide, which is going to increase your pump and blood flow. So those 3 compounds right there are going to give you a pretty decent pump in the gym, increase your vascularity and your blood flow while you're working out. Okay, so as you see, Kill It Reloaded has a pretty big ingredient list. We have a bunch of compounds in here, some nootropics, which for me, I don't really see the point in a pre-workout, but some people like it, some people the way it makes them feel cognitively. You have a bunch of different stimulants. You have the beta-alanine, you have the creatine, and then you have the 3 different compounds for your pump. So ideally, this should help your workout. Now it's onto the taste test and then heading over to the gym to let you know how it works. Alright guys, So now it's time for the taste test. Again, we have 5% Nutrition's Kill It, and we have the blue raspberry flavor. So here it is. I'm going to mix it in front of you guys so you can see how it mixes. You got 10 ounces of water, so it's not all watered down. And you can see we're getting a little clumps in there, but pretty good, let's see. The flavor itself isn't bad. The blue raspberry is pretty good, but it is a little gritty, and I think that's just because there's so many ingredients in there. So I'll give the taste a 7.6. Alright, so I've had some people ask me about this workout, so I'm just going to go over it real quick. This is more like a close grip lockout, because we're trying to focus solely on arms today, so we're doing basically a close grip incline lockout and really trying to focus on hitting those triceps. So for energy levels, I'm going to give it about a 7.9. You can see me going through my workout here, and my energy level's pretty good. It's not crazy high, I'm not super amped up, but I can definitely feel my energy at a pretty decent level. Performance wise, I'm going to rate Kill It Reloaded a 7.5. I felt like I had pretty decent pumps, and I didn't really get fatigued throughout my workout, but again, it wasn't the best supplement I've ever taken, so we're going to give it a 7.5 on performance. Alright guys, so overall that brings Kill It Reloaded to a 7.7. I think it's a pretty good pre-workout. Like I said, I had pretty decent pumps and pretty good energy levels. The only complaint I had was that the flavor was a little bit chalky, and like I said, that was probably from the extensive ingredient list. But other than that, I definitely recommend this pre-workout, and give it a try. Let me know what you guys think.